In September 2014, a concerning incident unfolded during a police accountability march in Lynn, Massachusetts, shedding light on officers allegedly breaking the law while being captured on camera. The incident was documented by Ms. Bay, the founder of the Bay State Examiner, an independent media source focused on police interactions and accountability. While attending the march, Ms. Bay noticed an undercover police officer trailing the protest in an unmarked vehicle. Seeking accountability, she approached the officer to request his name and badge number. In a startling turn of events, the officer reportedly hit her with his vehicle.
Howdy. Sorry to bother again. Oh, hey.
Both yours. Pardon me? I need both your IDs. What's the law for? Because you're on private property. I'm on private property and you get to see my in the back lot. You're on private property. You asked if you need it. I need your IDs. IDs?
Can I have yours?
I don't have one.
Oh, alright.
Well, go to the chief. We are.
Sure.
That's what we're here for.
Yep. Can we speak to the chief? This officer has invited us to speak with him.
This incident prompted Ms. Bay to take matters into her own hands. Days later, Ms. Bay ventured to the Lynn police station's back lot in pursuit of evidence regarding the vehicle that had allegedly struck her. Her efforts were met with resistance from an unidentified officer who swiftly expelled her from the premises. Undeterred, she entered the police department building to file a formal complaint about the incident and to seek officer identifications. The encounter within the police station would go on to raise a myriad of legal and ethical concerns. The situation escalated when the officers on duty refused to identify themselves and labeled Ms. Bay's presence as trespassing on private property. Massachusetts law, however, stipulates that police officers are required to carry identification cards and display them upon a lawful request. This refusal constituted a violation of this legal obligation.
What sounds? Okay. Oh, after? I'm sorry. Alright.
We need your IDs now.
I'm not interested in showing that at this time.
No?
I'm not. Yeah.
Alright, so you guys are refusing? Alright, why don't you just leave that? You go. We want to check.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've invited us to speak with the chief.
Busy guy.
Oh.
You just suggested we talk to the chief.
Well,
Yeah, but I guess apparently he's not.
I'm sorry,
He
what's...
just told you to do that, right?
No, you told us to talk to the chief.
Yeah, and you came around here and he's not coming down here.
Oh, right.
So maybe you should call him
Call
and
the
make an appointment with him.
Got it. Okay. We can do that.
And may I have both of your names and ID cards?
It's badge 88.
Badge 88.
Badge 88?
Yep.
The officers ordered Ms. Bay to vacate the premises, accusing her of creating a disturbance and trespassing. In response, she asserted her right to continue recording for news-gathering purposes. A crucial distinction emerged. While Massachusetts acknowledges the right to record police, this right is not absolute and must adhere to reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions that safeguard officer safety, informants, and victims. The incident also underscored the nuanced relationship between the First Amendment and trespassing laws. While Ms. Bay's intent to file a complaint justified her presence to some extent, officers claimed she was trespassing and sought to remove her from the building. Legal precedents highlighted the complexity of these issues, including the right to record police versus the limitations imposed on such activities within police stations.
Not with you. Who do I make a complaint with?
Chief's the best guy.
The chief's the best guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So make an appointment. Okay. What's up with that? What is it that you're looking for?
Well, I found the car that hit me on Friday. I was reporting it earlier. It's out back.
Okay, and what are you doing going in private property videotaping police cars?
What private property?
The property that's parked out back there posted as no trespassing, authorized personnel only.
I didn't see that.
Well, it's posted all over the entrances to that parking lot.
Interesting.
It is interesting, but it is also posted.
Okay.
You're subject to arrest for going back into private property.
Am I being
Videotaping
arrested?
Police cars. Huh?
Am I being
I
arrested?
said you are subject to arrest.
Okay.
Despite these legal complexities, officers' conduct raised questions about their intentions and commitment to accountability. Their refusal to take Ms. Bay's claims seriously and their hindrance of her ability to file a complaint cast doubts on their willingness to engage transparently with civilian concerns. The encounter raised concerns about the potential misuse of laws to deter individuals from lodging complaints against law enforcement officers. In the aftermath of the incident, Ms. Bay submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to the Lynn's Record Department.
The officer in charge will be up with you when he gets a second. He'll
Okay.
talk to you and get your complaint.
Well, somebody does need to tell
Okay.
him that that's what's going
Well,
on.
if he's
because
already done that, then your complaint has been filed and documented.
There's information that he literally doesn't have because I didn't have it until right now. when I went back, I found the car. So I would like to tell him that the car is back there, that it's been repaired, even though they didn't report items. Well, you know what, actually, I'm filming this for news gathering purposes at this point.
Yet her efforts were met with resistance, and it remains uncertain whether the department ever responded to her request. Her documentation of the event and her subsequent efforts to highlight the challenges faced by citizens seeking accountability and transparency within law enforcement agencies. Now let's move on to the next investigation. In a noteworthy incident that unfolded on June 5, 2015, the spotlight fell on Michael Hoffman, a private investigator and an advocate for the First Amendment. The scenario took place in Jacksonville, Florida, as Hoffman engaged in conducting surveillance as part of a case. His objective was to track down an individual's movements and actions across multiple locations. However, the situation took an unexpected turn when the person under surveillance alleged that Hoffman was stalking her.
Investigator of some sort?
Can I ask why you pulled me over, sir?
I pulled you over because the young ladies came over there and said you've been following her since she left the airport yesterday. So I want to know who you are.
Have I committed a crime?
No, but I'm conducting an investigation. Have you been following that young lady? I mean, if you're an investigator, investigate away. But if you're somebody harassing her or stalking her, that's against the law. Me pulling you over to find out who you are is me doing my job.
Am I free to go?
No, you are not. Not until I find out who you are. I'm conducting an investigation. Do you have your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance on you?
Have you pulled me for a traffic violation, sir?
No, sir. I've already explained that to you. Now you can play the back and forth rigmarole.
This accusation prompted a response from law enforcement, specifically an officer from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. The encounter between Hoffman and the officer was marked by a clash of rights and principles. As the officer initiated a traffic stop, the interaction was captured on camera and later disseminated on the Awakening the Masses YouTube channel. The video depicted the exchange as the officer sought to ascertain the veracity of the stalking claim. He engaged Hoffman in conversation, asking about his identity, purpose, and whether he was an investigator. Hoffman's response was calculated and assertive. He began by asking the officer the reason for pulling him over, which initiated a dialogue regarding the stalking allegation. The officer cited the complainant's assertion that Hoffman had been tailing her since previous day. Despite Hoffman's protestations, the officer deemed it necessary to investigate the matter. He explained that his actions were guided by the need to ascertain whether Hoffman was involved in harassing or stalking behavior, which is legally prohibited.
Oh, tell them to come up with it. We're at the 8100 block of Boston Express.
I don't answer questions, Deputy.
You don't answer questions. Stop, young lady. Just stand by them. Stand by.
Your name and badge number, Deputy? Your name and badge number, Deputy?
Buddy, what's going on?
Name and badge number, sir?
Simpson 66196.
Masinsin, M-A-S-I-N-S-I-N. Sir, I'd like to know why I'm being detained.
So we want to, someone saying that you were claiming you're stalking. What is that, are you an investigator on it?
Okay, let me make this clear, sir. I would like for you to articulate what crime you...
The crux of the disagreement hinged on the rights invoked by Hoffman. When the officer requested identification, Hoffman invoked his Fifth Amendment rights, a constitutional privilege against self-incrimination. This assertion caused a pivotal shift in the interaction, as Hoffman insisted he would only speak in the presence of legal counsel. The officer, seemingly perplexed by this response, requested that Hoffman bring his attorney to the scene for further questioning. Hoffman's stance was rooted in legal principles. He argued that during a Terry stop, law enforcement could pose a limited number of questions to establish identity and to determine if any suspicions were valid. However, Hoffman remained steadfast in asserting that he was under no obligation to answer questions without the presence of legal representation, especially considering the potential implications of his responses. The officer's actions were grounded in the assumption that a stalking accusation, combined with a corroborated vehicle description, constituted reasonable suspicion for a stop and investigation. This view aligned with legal precedent, exemplified by the 2002 case of United States v. Sokolow, which allows law enforcement to act on a tip if it bears indicia of reliability. The Supreme Court has ruled that reasonable suspicion necessitates a particularized and objective basis for suspecting wrongdoing. Despite the differing interpretations, the encounter eventually concluded with the officer permitting Hoffman to leave. The tension between rights and responsibilities underscored the complexity of police-citizen interactions.
Some professional courtesy and treat me with the respect I deserve.
I did.
What is your name and badge number?
Well, hey, you know, sir, I gave you mine. 0051.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy. Was that so hard?
No.
The law states I don't have to give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime.
I don't.
Then am I free to go? Because this is an illegal detainment.
At this time.
This is an illegal detainment.
But like I said, your criminal description we were given.
I respect
doesn't
that.
mean
I respect
you're guilty.
that. I respect that. You're
doesn't
talking
mean
to an
you're
ex-law
guilty.
enforcement officer, buddy. Now, I understand you're doing no fault with that. You are doing your job.
Okay.
And the mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make...
Shedding light on the importance of understanding legal rights during such encounters. Hoffman's case emphasized that individuals have the right to remain silent and request legal counsel during a Terry stop, while officers must balance their duty to investigate with the requirement to respect constitutional rights. The incident became a case study in navigating the delicate balance between law enforcement's duty to investigate and an individual's rights to privacy and legal protection. As the video disseminated, it sparked discussions about the scope of police authority during stops, the validity of accusations, and the intricacies of the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. Michael Hoffman's assertiveness in upholding his rights and the officer's attempts to fulfill his duty encapsulated a pivotal moment in the ongoing dialogue about law enforcement practices and individual freedoms. Now let's take a look at the next investigation. In April 2020, a situation involving Keelan Hill and Denver police officers unfolded after a minor traffic incident on Interstate 25 in Colorado. The incident escalated into legal disputes, allegations of rights violations, and concerns over police conduct. The episode began when Keelan Hill, age 25, called 911 after a minor collision with two other drivers. Officer Thomas Ludwig of the Denver Police Department arrived at the scene and initiated discussions with the other individuals involved while Hill was being evaluated by paramedics inside an ambulance. The situation took a turn when Hill exited the ambulance and noticed Officer Ludwig searching his vehicle without consent.
What are you doing? Stepping to me? Huh? What the f*** is in my face? I don't think so, dude. What is this? Oh, what am I? What the f***?
What are you stopping the cops for, man?
I did not ask you to get
No,
out of my car.
I watched you. I got you on my video camera.
I asked you to get out of my car. That's it.
You're being an to everybody.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
So you're... Oh. This is paperwork, brother. Ow. This man just hit my car. You know me? What just happened? No, I come out here too, huh? What?
On probation. I'm sure
I'm not on
your
probation.
probation officer's going to love that.
I'm not on probation at all.
The officer claimed he detected the odor of marijuana, implying that this gave him the authority to conduct the search. The legality of such searches based on marijuana odor varies across states, and in Colorado, where recreational marijuana is legal, the odor can contribute to probable cause for a search. However, legal nuances exist. Hill confronted Officer Ludwig about the search, leading to a heated argument. The officer's aggressive response escalated the tension instead of employing de-escalation techniques. While Hill's behavior might have prompted concern, it's questionable whether it warranted the officer's level of aggression. Hill was arrested and charged with interference with police activity. These charges were later dropped, but the incident spurred Hill to file a lawsuit against the city of Denver and the involved officers.
I'm not intoxicated at all.
Go ahead and have a seat in there.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, have a seat.
Y'all are illegally searching my car.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Put your feet up.
ID, bro.
Push yourself all the way back.
He alleged violations of his First and Fourth Amendment rights and claimed damages, including missing a master's degree final exam due to his incarceration. Critiques of the officer's conduct centered on several points. Firstly, despite the possible legality of the initial search, the decision to arrest Hill was deemed unnecessary and potentially unconstitutional. Officer Ludwig's unprofessional behavior, particularly his failure to de-escalate the situation, garnered criticism. His confrontational approach escalated the disagreement rather than diffusing it, highlighting the significance of emotional awareness in police interactions. Moreover, the officers faced criticism for their response to Hill's request for medical assistance. According to the Denver Police Department's Operation Manual, officers are required to provide medical attention to individuals in custody. Hill's expression of uncertainty about his injury should have prompted a more compassionate response from the officers, as opposed to the callous indifference displayed. This incident underscores the complexities of police interactions and the importance of effective de-escalation techniques. While the legality of certain actions can be ambiguous, officers should prioritize public safety and citizens' rights. Emotions and situational awareness play crucial roles in determining the outcome of such encounters. On August 7, 2020, officers Jordan Horn and Dalton Martin of the McDowell County Sheriff's Office of West Virginia visited the 66-year-old named Donnie Harrison and his wife Ventress, who is 63, as they were sitting on the front porch of the house, which was rented from the ex-military officer named Jason. The deputy came in and asked questions related to 4 marijuana plants that were planted nearby. So let's watch the video further and see what happens.
Just because in the season that we're living in, I think it's important that I have your names.
What do you mean, man?
A lot of crazy stuff going on.
When the law enforcement officials came to the Harrisons' home, the elderly woman greeted them by saying "season" before inquiring about the officers' identities. When the officer inquired as to what she meant by that, she responded that there are numerous occurrences taking place and that she's inquiring about the name of their security.
Police officers in this area to come up and say, "Are you growing marijuana?" That is preposterous to me.
Is just a question, man.
Yeah, well, I get that.
She gives off the impression of being irritated as she asserts that the officers from the surrounding area came and questioned them if they were growing marijuana there, which the speaker finds to be a ridiculous request.
And so then my only question to you is your names, just so it's okay in my own heart and mind. And when I say the season we're living in, you know the season we're living in.
Y'all concerned about something over here at this house?
In order to defend himself, the officer claims that it is only a question, to which the lady responds in an unprompted manner that she understands, and she's merely requesting the officer's name for her own mental and emotional well-being.
This house?
No, that house.
Yes. Who lives there?
Mr. Ferguson? He's probably there now, he's 79.
Jason, the owner of the residence, interjects himself into the conversation and inquires of the police about whether or not they checked the other house, where the police will inquire about the person who resides there by asking for their name.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Jason Tart.
Jason Tart?
Tart.
And what do you mean by the season we're living in, ma'am?
Sir.
What do you need? You got any questions for me?
No, I'll collect some information from you in a minute, your name and date of birth and such.
The lady responds to the person who's living in that house.
What do you need my information for?
You own these 2 homes, correct?
What
okay,
these 2 homes got to do with that?
These 2 homes is near that marijuana grow, so I'd just like to have your name.
You know how many people go through here?
I understand.
That's not going to...
The officer then asks the name of the individual standing beside the lady, where Jason introduces himself and asks the lady what does she mean by the term season, in which the owner of the house jumps in and says what the officer requires.
Do you one bit of good?
Well, sir, I'm going to need your name and date of birth, and I have that.
feel comfortable giving you my name
Where the officer replies by stating he is just collecting information.
and date of birth.
Okay, well, this is a criminal investigation. You own these 2 homes, so by law, you do have to give me your name and date of birth, sir.
If he gives you a reason, yes, you do.
Reason for what?
Because of the marijuana grow.
It's not on my property.
Okay, well, again, I have reason to believe that.
Jason asks why is he collecting information, to which the officer replies that he owns the property and his property is nearby where the marijuana was grown. Jason responds that it's not on his property. The officer states that he believes it can be a possibility that the nearby houses are also connected with the marijuana planting, so Jason has had to give his name and date of birth due to law regulations.
Scared you?
Who says that? Who
By asking you a question?
Who comes up and asks? That's crazy.
And it scared you?
I'm trying to understand what
It scared you by me asking you a question.
Growing marijuana?
And that's a question. To say somebody scared you because they asked you a question is ridiculous.
That's preposterous.
Go ahead and give me your name, sir.
Wait.
First name.
It's ridiculous to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's not ridiculous.
Your first name.
I'm not giving you my information.
Sir, if you refuse to give me your information, I'm going to arrest you.
That's fine. My property has nothing to do with any marijuana whatsoever. You gonna arrest me if I don't give you my name and date of birth?
It's obstructing an officer.
Jason Tart initially refused to give his name and date of birth when the deputies requested it. He argued that the alleged marijuana plants were not on his property and therefore he did not need to provide his information. However, the deputies insisted that he was required by law to provide his name and date of birth due to the proximity of his properties to the alleged marijuana plants.
No, I'm hindering you from doing your job. Yeah, this is how you guys.
This is bad.
This is
112 control.
This is how you operate.
This is a wrap.
I'm hindering you from doing your job.
Y'all need to go inside. Again, you two go inside. Go inside.
I'm afraid.
Go
now,
inside.
I'll tell you the truth.
Go inside. No, go inside as of right now.
Tell me why.
Go inside.
What are you doing?
Step off
man?
the porch. Step off the porch.
I'll step off.
Go inside.
What are you doing? This is unnecessary for
Sir,
you to be
go
doing.
inside.
He's standing on his own porch.
Go inside.
During the interaction, when Mr. Harrison began filming the encounter between the deputies and Mr. Tart, Deputy Martin forcefully pushed the Harrisons into their home. He specifically pushed Mr. Harrison into the doorway and closed the door behind him, effectively preventing him from continuing to record the incident.
Come on.
Look,
Walk.
man, don't. Listen. You don't have to listen,
You're
man.
being recorded.
Listen. This
Just
is
walk.
Listen.
Walk.
Listen. I can walk. I can walk
Okay,
without
well,
you
walk.
putting your damn hands on me.
Walk
You
to the
understand?
vehicle.
I have not broken the law.
The officers forcefully started putting handcuffs on Jason. He tried to stop the cop and told them he can walk wherever they want him to, but don't put the handcuffs on, stating that he didn't break any law to be handcuffed.
Walk to the
At
vehicle.
all.
Well, walk to the vehicle,
Don't
sir.
put
You're
your
being
damn
recorded.
hands on me. I give
Sir.
you no reason to touch me.
I'm going to arrest you then. Place your hands behind your back.
Uncalled for.
Place your hands behind your back.
Put your hand behind
Place your hands behind your back.
Listen.
Just relax, okay?
Listen. You
relax.
Place your hands behind
Okay.
your back. Please place your hands behind your back.
My hand is behind my.
Place your
It
hands
only
behind-
takes one of you.
Place your hand-
Look, let him do it.
The officers then directed Jason to walk towards their vehicle. Still, the argument was going on, and Jason stated that it was all uncalled for. The police officer put the handcuffs on Jason at that point, and told the other officer to leave his hand and let the other officer put on the cuffs.
He owns two properties right here on this Baptist Drive road. We located a marijuana grow probably not 100 foot, 50 foot from this last property of his, and he just won't give us his name, date of birth.
The officers took Jason towards their vehicle, made him sit inside, and updated their heads about the situation, stating that Jason's not providing his ID and credentials when asked for, and lives approximately 50 to 100 feet away from the scene where the marijuana was found.
Black now.
The person on the other end asked about Jason's appearance, and when heard that he was a black man, the officer put marijuana inside the car's back as a piece of evidence, due to which Mr. Jason was charged with obstruction of the law officer, but the case was allegedly dismissed as the prosecutor on October 2020, as Officer Martin failed to appear in front of the court. The statement highlights that despite the potential challenges posed by qualified immunity, it acknowledges that the deputies did not behave in a professional, calm, and polite manner throughout the encounter. It recognizes the efforts made by Mr. Jason and the Harrisons to exercise their constitutional rights and take appropriate legal action following the incident. The statement commends their courage in initiating a lawsuit after their rights were infringed upon. It expresses curiosity about the outcome of the legal issues involved and how they will be resolved in the future. In this case, a Good Samaritan's act of helping a crash victim resulted in his arrest by a police officer, leading to a significant lawsuit settlement. On September 22, 2019, Preston Sal and his companions came across an injured man trapped under a crashed motorcycle in Loveland, California. Mr. Sal and others rushed to assist the victim while emergency services were called. Officer Paul Ash from the Loveland Police Department arrived on the scene and began questioning Mr. Sal about the incident. Although Mr. Sal cooperated and provided information, Officer Ash insisted on further questioning and asked him to step away from the scene. However, Mr. Sal exercised his right to remain silent and refused to speak to Officer Ash as he was not a witness to the incident. Officer Ash, without legal authority, threatened Mr. Sal with arrest for obstruction if he continued to refuse. Under Colorado law, Mr. Sal's actions did not constitute obstruction.
Where is the bike at?
Bike's parked down on the side.
Yeah, the blue one.
Officer Ash proceeded to forcefully restrain Mr. Sal, leading to physical altercation resulting in severe injuries, including a dislocated shoulder, a fractured collarbone, and a torn rotator cuff. Despite knowing that Mr. Sal had no involvement in moving the motorcycle, Officer Ash still insisted on questioning and arresting him.
Okay, you mind coming and talk to me?
I don't know what happened.
Well, you pulled the
I'm
bike
not
off
talking
him.
to nobody.
Really?
These guys saw what happened.
Okay, if you're not talking to anybody, you can leave.
Well, you can leave. You're
No.
dismissed.
We can't
leave. We can't leave. I'm not leaving.
Okay, then come and talk to me.
No, I'm not going to come talk to you.
After the incident, Officer Ash's body camera footage revealed that another bystander had moved the motorcycle.
I'm not going to come talk to you.
Police officer, man.
I know.
Did you
but I'm
pull
not
the
gonna come
bike?
talk
Did
to
you
him.
pull the bike
I'm not
off
gonna
him?
come talk to him.
Did you pull the bike off him?
I did not.
Okay. You just told me you
It has
did.
nothing to do with me.
Okay, you're free to leave.
You're free to leave.
Confirming Mr. Sal's innocence. Paramedics on the scene examined Mr. Sal and recommended his immediate transfer to the hospital. He later underwent shoulder replacement surgery and experienced persistent pain.
What's his name? Preston. Preston what? You got an ID on your boss? I'm gonna need an ID now. Okay. 177. I got an uncooperative witness. Come on over here. I need to talk to you.
Constitutional right. No.
I
don't want to talk to you.
You have to talk.
I don't want to talk. No, I don't.
Following the incident, Mr. Sal filed a lawsuit against the officers involved, alleging violations of his constitutional rights. The City of Loveland acknowledged that Officer Ash had violated department policies, but did not disclose any disciplinary actions taken against the officers.
I don't have to talk to anybody.
Okay, either
I
you're
don't
gonna
have to
sit
talk to
here and
anybody.
talk to me,
No.
we'll just have a short
No,
conversation,
no.
or I'm gonna
I
arrest
don't
you for
have to.
obstruction.
No, you're not. I'm not obstructing
You
anything.
are.
You're right here.
Okay.
I'm not obstructing. That's.
Concern yourself, you need to talk to me.
I don't
You're
need to talk.
obstructing an investigation.
I'm not obstructing
You're
anything.
under arrest for obstruction.
I'm not
and for
obstructing.
resisting.
I want to talk to your fucking supervisor.
Here?
Yeah.
I need statements from the guy in the blue plaid shirt.
Okay.
The guy in the black Eagles thing.
Okay.
He was the one who moved his bike over there, or was moving
And the
it.
Eagles jersey moved it over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. Since you're in custody, you're gonna go with me. Okay.
I don't know why I'm in custody.
Well, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So let me explain to you what we're gonna do. Okay.
My shoulder's fucked up. Use that out. That's all I know.
So let me explain to you what we're gonna do. Okay.
My shoulder's fucked up. Use that out. That's all I know.
In January 2021, Mr. Al's excessive force lawsuit was settled for $290,000. However, no recorded action was reported against the officers involved, and the city stated that the settlement did not imply an admission of guilt. This case highlights the unjust arrest and excessive force used against an innocent individual who was simply trying to help a crash victim. Despite the lawsuit settlement, questions remain regarding the accountability and disciplinary measures for the officers involved in the incident. Now let's move on to our next case. In this case, a man was arrested for wearing his motorcycle helmet inside a Walmart store, leading to a subsequent lawsuit. On August 6, 2019, Freedom Christopher Fandler rode his motorcycle to a Walmart in Suaharita, Arizona. He entered the store without removing his helmet and was listening to music through wireless headphones. A store manager attempted to get his attention but failed. The manager then called 911, considering Mr. Fandler's behavior suspicious. Meanwhile, Mr. Fandler continued shopping and was approached by 3 officers from the Suaharita Police Department. They demanded his ID without explaining the situation. Initially, Mr. Fandler didn't respond due to his earphones, but he eventually complied. He provided his ID and asked the officers what was happening. The officers claimed that the store manager had asked Mr. Fandler to remove his helmet, which he allegedly ignored. Mr. Fandler explained he kept his helmet on for convenience and provided proof of his purchases with a receipt. While reviewing CCTV footage, it became evident that the store's manager claims were inaccurate. He had approached Mr. Fandler only twice and from a distance, contradicting his earlier assertions.
Hey, bud, you got some ID on you? Hold on. You have some ID on you?
Nevertheless, Officer John George confronted Mr. Fandler in an unnecessary aggressive manner, threatening him and violating his First Amendment right to free speech.
Yeah, man, you've been asking you to take your helmet off before you walk around in the store and you're just ignoring him.
Do me a favor, take your helmet off. You're not going to speak with us with your helmet on.
Okay. Let's take your helmet off.
I'm sorry?
Someone's trying to talk to you. Someone's in the air.
What'd you make a purchase?
I bought
Mr. Fandler chose to remain silent after Officer George's behavior.
So he said that he had music playing in his helmet.
I walked right up to the right up top of you right now. Stood right there.
Okay. So did you see the manager basically walk up right to your face and ask you to take off your helmet? How did you not see that?
I saw him talking, but he's got a headset on.
Standing right next to you. Right next to you. I came up and I said, sir,
I thought you were going this way. I didn't hear you.
I said, stop. I followed you halfway throughout the store.
Let me ask you something. What's the purpose of keeping the helmet on?
It's just faster to get to work, man. Like I said, I'm always to work.
Where do you work at?
Work at Jim Click. Right
Okay.
there.
So you walked through the store, what'd you buy?
I bought a sandwich, a Gatorade, 2 peaches, a scrubber, 4 pens, and a toothbrush.
Despite his silence, the officers and store manager continued questioning Mr. Fandler. Eventually, the officers arrested him for disorderly conduct, and he was detained for over 17 hours before the charges were dropped.
So you keep the helmet on, you walk around,
Yeah, I do that
grab
at
all
the
this
Safeway,
stuff.
I go to the other Safeway, I go fries. Except when I go to the bank, I've never had any issues where it was like take it off or a sign saying that you need to have it off. And like I said,
That's why the manager asked you to take it off.
Like I said, I didn't hear him. I had music playing through.
Okay.
You didn't see him standing right in front of you.
I saw you there, and then I saw you talk, but like again, you have a headset on, so
Well, I can't put my hands on you to get your attention. I'm standing right next to you.
I didn't.
Just like I'm standing
I
here with
didn't
the
see
officer.
you from next to me.
Stood right in front of you, just like I'm standing here. I said, I need you to stop and listen to me. You don't ignore me and get walked.
Mr. Fandler filed a lawsuit against the Swa-Arita Police Department, alleging illegal search, false arrest, malicious prosecution, and defamation. Initially, Mr. Fandler offered to settle the case for $250,000, which was rejected.
You're an argumentative person, and I'm not the person you want to argue with. You need to take your head and you need to go like this and pull your head out of your ass. Okay? Because you're walking around in a store hiding your face. There's shooters that go on all over the place. This man comes up to you and you want to play. You got a little Senna headpiece going on that you can't stop. You need to listen to learn, not listen to reply. You need to turn that little switch off in your brain that you want to run your mouth and argue every time somebody tells you something. Because this is disturbing the peace. You can go to jail and not go to work. So what's the choice you're going to make, hardhead?
The town of Swa-Arita and the police department denied any wrongdoing and planned to dismiss the lawsuit.
You gonna quit walking around businesses with a helmet on, scaring the hell out of people to where you got massive cops all over the place, rifles outside waiting for a shooter to come out? Laugh. But that's where we're at. So pull your head out of your ass and quit arguing every time somebody tells you something. I'm telling you, look at what you're doing. You keep wanting to argue with me. I'm not the guy you want to argue with.
Wasn't trying to argue with.
That's why you keep talking. Stop talking.
Okay, fine.
Officer George was later fired for unrelated reasons. However, Mr. Fandler's attorney refiled the lawsuit, aiming to obtain justice and rectify this practice.
Okay, so officially being trespassed from the store, don't come back to Walmart. Come back to Walmart, manager, anyone sees you, you get arrested for that. How many times did you ask him to leave?
At least. It's like he's ignoring you. I walk half the store from him, following him right to the side to ask him. After I told him many times that officers were coming out. Let's get them.
I would say so.
Especially the current behavior.
You're asking about old police escort?
I would say walk right next to him, just like we're walking right now.
You were told to leave the store, and you didn't want to
You want me to
cooperate.
take my jacket off?
Nope, I want you to leave your jacket on.
Right there, please.
As of the present, the outcome of the lawsuit is still pending. The case highlights the infringement of Mr. Fandler's rights and the potential consequences of false arrest based on misunderstandings.